Hi, today we are going to talk about this tank you see behind me. It sits on the lower shelf of this aquarium stand that I have here. It's 54-liter aquarium. It's 60 centimeters long, 30 centimeters wide and 30 centimeters high. I use a simple power filter and a heater, and the light that I use is Chihiro's A series that I use at 30% of maximum power, which gives around 15 watts of power. Maximum power is 39 watts. And I use pressurized carbon dioxide to help with plant growth, and as a source of carbon dioxide I use a soda stream bottle with a regulator and a solenoid valve to shut off the carbon dioxide during the night. To provide the nutrients for the plants I use a so-called estimative index method. And when using this method you do one large water change a week, like 50%, and right after water change you dose potassium nitrate, monopotassium phosphate and microelements, so that you always have excess of nutrients available for plants. And by doing large water change you balance out eventual excess of nutrients. In this method you make sure that you always have enough nutrients available for plants. The drawback may be that you have a lot of nutrients available in the water column, which can drive algae growth. The alternative is to add less nutrients into the water column and to instead have a nutrient-rich substrate, like for example aquarium soil. But when I started this aquarium I didn't plan it to be a planted tank, so I just use a little bit of sand, fine sand, which is not optimal for plants. So after a while, when I decided it to be a planted tank, I added some gravel, as you can see. In the beginning I was more focused on a fish species that I have in this aquarium, which is Pseudomugil signifer, also called Pacific blue eye. Its natural distribution is in coastal waters of eastern Australia. It has even been found sporadically in full saltwater conditions. So anyway, because the tank already had some plants in it, it was established and cycled, so I didn't want it to change all the substrate. I have chosen to add some gravel and mix it with existing sand. And as you can see, some plants have already established in the fine sand. But of course the gravel will be a better substrate for the plants than fine sand. The roots will have it easier to spread in the gravel. So here I'm just adding some gravel, retrieving the Cryptocorinna leaves from the gravel that I have just put. So in this tank I used Cryptocorinna venti brown and green, two varieties of the same species. I also used Hygrophila corymbosa, I think, if I remember right. It's the plant on the right side of the tank in front of the filter. Right now here I am replanting some of the Cryptocorinna. Before replanting on some plants I am cutting the roots because they became quite long already, so it's easier to plant them. Also cutting out some old leaves. I think these were still the leaves that were used to emersal growth, so growth out of the water. That's how most of aquarium plants are grown before they are delivered to aquarium stores. It's simply much easier to grow them in the air instead of the water. You don't have issues with algae and you don't have to change water in aquariums. I came across an unexpected benefit of growing Cryptocorinna in nutrient-poor substrate like this. It never grows too large, it stays quite like a dwarf version of the plant, which suits such a small tank quite well. But still, it's the plant that uses mostly nutrients that are located near its roots, so I am not sure what will be the long-term effects of this growth. On the other hand, some nutrients will accumulate eventually in the sand, and I can always use some nutrient tablets and put them in the substrate. And now I am taking Pogostemon stellatus from a holding tank that I have on the aquarium stand. This tank will also be aquascaped and planted later on. Pogostemon stellatus grows quite well in this tank. I think that's because I have a soft tap water. This plant likes soft water. And of course injection of carbon dioxide. And here I'm removing some old leaves that were still adapted to emersal growth. And that's how the aquarium looked like right after adding the gravel and replanting. And as you can see, there is more fish here than I have right now. Unfortunately, I lost some of them. They were very aggressive males. They were chasing each other, they killed each other, so this tank is probably a little bit too small for such a large group of them. And this is how it looks like today after trimming. It's approximately 4 weeks after replanting and adding the gravel. As you can see, I have some brush algae issues on the lava rocks, and I will try to remove them later on. So I have 5 fish left out of 10, but I haven't seen any further losses during the last weeks, so this number seems to work well in this size aquarium. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe, and see you in the next video.